Hey guys, and welcome to the Command Tower. We make EDH Deck decks. If you enjoy these videos, make sure to like and subscribe. Today's deck is a Killian Ink Duelist deck. Killian is a 2/2 that has lifelink and menace, so spells you cast that target a creature cost 2 less to cast. So there's a lot of ways you could build this deck, but the way we're going to build it is with a lot of auras. So we're going to try to put a ton of auras on just a couple of our creatures, protect them from kill spells, and then attack for a lot of damage. And since auras target creatures, they're going to cost less with our commander. Total price of this deck is $31.67, and this is according to TCG Player. It does not include the price of basic lands. So let's get right into the deck. Before we start the video, please consider checking out our TCG Player affiliate link. If you use it, it helps us continue to make more videos. Now let's get right into the deck. First off, we have some auras and some other cards to buff up our creatures. And since it's the main part of the deck, we're going to have a lot of cards in this category. Angelic Gift, Chain Creature. When it is battlefield, you draw a card, and enchanted creature is flying, so it's going to be hard to block. Unquestioned Authority, Enchanted Creature. When it enters battlefield, you draw a card. Enchanted creature has protection from creatures, basically making it blockable. Scavenge Weaponry. When it comes into play, you draw a card, enchanted creature gets +1/+1. All of these are great because with our commander out, you can play them for 1 mana, and then you're going to draw a card, so basically, they replace themselves. Rune of Mortality. When it is battlefield, draw a card. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, has Death Touch. As long as enchanted permanent is equipment, has equipped creature has Death Touch. Grisly Transformation. Enchanted creature. When it is battlefield, you draw a card. Enchanted creature has Intimidate. Fire Resist. Probably one of the best cards in the deck. You enchant a creature, and your enchanted creature has Infect. So, we're going to put on our best creature, and we could probably insta-kill someone, or deal a lot of infect damage. Vow of Malice, Chain Creature. Chained creature gets +2/+2, has Intimidate, and can attack you or a planeswalker you control. So, we can enchant our creature to make it hard to block, or we can put on an opponent's creature, and then that creature can attack us. Asha's Favor, you enchant a creature. Enchanted creature is flying, first strike, and vigilance. So all of that is going to help our creature out a lot. Battle Mastery, enchanted creature. Enchanted creature has double strike, which may not seem like a lot, but giving a creature double strike is going to make it do a ton more damage. Sarah's Embrace, enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has flying and vigilance. On Sarah's Wings, enchanted creature. Enchanted creature is legendary, gets +1/+1, has flying, vigilance, and lifelink. Mammoth Umber, you enchant a creature. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3 and vigilance, and it has totem armor. So it's going to buff up the creature, and if an opponent tries to kill it, it's going to protect the creature. Gifts of Doom, enchanted creature. Enchanted creature has Death Touch and Indestructible, has Morph, sacrifice another creature. And when it's turn faced up, you can attach it to a creature. So giving it Death Touch and Indestructible is giving it some really powerful effects, and if we put that on our commander, who already has some other powerful effects, it can become a really good creature. Face of Divinity, enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2, as long as another aura is attached to enchanted creature, has first strike and lifelink. Ethereal Armor, enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control, and has first strike, which is so good for only 1 mana, because it's going to make our creature a lot bigger. Demonic Embrace, enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +3/+1, has flying, is a demon in addition to other types. You can cast it from your graveyard by paying 3 life and discarding a card in addition to its other costs. So, even if the creature dies that this was enchanting, you can get it back and just keep playing it. Spectral Steel, enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2. If you pay 2, exile it from your graveyard, return another target aura or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand, so you can get your best ones back. Iona's Blessing, enchanted creature. Enchanted creature is +2/+2, has vigilance, and can block additional creature. So, if our creature is pretty big, we can attack with it, and then hold it open for a blocker. Helm of the Gods, equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control, and it has equipped for 1. So even though it's not an aura, we're going to have a lot of enchantments. And all that glitters is pretty similar as enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. Spirit Mantle, enchanted creature. Enchanted creature has +1/+1, has protection from creatures, so it's basically going to give it unblockable. And Holy Mantle is pretty much the same thing. Necromancer's Mage Mark, enchanted creature. Creatures you control that are enchanted get +1/+1. And if a creature you control is enchanted, we put it into a graveyard, return it to his owner's hand instead. So it's going to help us get our creatures back and make them bigger. Tainted Strike. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains Infect on a turn. So it's good for all the reasons that we have our other Infect card in the deck. Then we have some creatures that we can enchant with all those auras. Shambling Suit. Its power is equal to the number of artifacts and or enchantments you control, so its powers are going to be pretty high already, and then if we start enchanting it, it's going to get a lot bigger. Blessed Spirits. Flying. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you put a 1/1 counter on them. So the flying is going to be really helpful here, and they'll just constantly keep getting bigger. Eidolon of Countless Battles has Bestow for 4, and it and enchanted creature each get +1/+1 for each creature you control, and +1/+1 for each aura you control. So, it's pretty cheap to play, and it'll become really big really fast. Fabled Hero. Double Strike. Whenever you cast a spell that targets it, you put a 1/1 counter on it. The double strike on this one is going to be super helpful, and it'll keep getting bigger a lot faster, so you can do a lot of damage out of nowhere. Flanks Leader. Whenever you cast a spell that targets it, you put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Then Everstrike has Flying. It gets +2/+2 for each aura you attach to it. You pay X and 2. Return it from your graveyard to play, and you can put an aura card with converted mana cost X or less from your hand into play attached to it. If you don't, remove it from the game. So, the more auras you play, the lot bigger it's gonna get, and even if it dies, you can get it back. So, for 5 mana, it's a pretty good card. Then we have some cards that benefit off us playing auras and enchantments. Agent of Fates. Death Touch. Whenever you cast a spell that targets him, each opponent sacrifices a creature. So, if we keep playing our auras on him, our opponents are going to have to keep sacrificing creatures, and then if we attack, they probably won't have a lot of creatures to block with. Dreadbringer Lampads. Whenever it or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gains Intimidate until end of turn, so it can make our creatures unblockable. Arden, Intrepid Archaeologist. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you can attach any number of auras and equipment you control to target permanent or player. So, we can put all of our auras on the best creature that we have on the battlefield. Pious Wayfarer. Whenever enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +1/+1 for until end of turn. So for 1 mana, we can make our creatures a little bit bigger. Celestial Ancient. Flying. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Then Crystal Chimes. You can pay 3, tap it, sacrifice it, return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to your hand. Then we have some cards to protect our creatures, because with all these enchantments on one creature, our opponents are definitely going to try to kill them. Benevolent Blessing. Flash. Enchanted creature. When it is battlefield, you choose a color. Enchanted creature has protection from the chosen color, and this effect doesn't remove auras and equipments you control that are attached to it. Spectral Ward. Enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from all colors. This effect doesn't remove auras. For 5 mana, this is a lot of value, basically making it almost impossible to kill and impossible to block. Timely Ward. You can cast a spell as though it had flash if it targets a commander. You can enchant a creature. Enchanted creature has indestructible. Soul Channeling. You can pay 2 life to regenerate enchanted creature. Skeletal Grimace. Enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has pay a black, regenerate this creature. Then Blessing of Leeches. You can play it anytime you can play it instant. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose life. Then you can pay 0 to regenerate enchanted creature. Then Shielded by Faith. Enchanted creature has indestructible. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you can attach Shielded by Faith to that creature. Then we have some card advantage. Underworld Connections. Enchant Land. Enchanted land has tap, pay 1 life, draw a card. So it's going to give us repeatable card draw, and it's an aura. Arguable's Blood Fast. You can pay 2 life, draw a card. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 5 less life, you can transform it. And it taps for black. You can tap it, sacrifice a creature, you gain life equal to sacrifice creature's toughness. This one's going to be great because we're going to run out of cards in our hands really fast. So with all the extra mana, we can use this. SRAM, Senior Edificer. Whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, draw a card, which you're going to be casting a lot of auras. Sage's Reverie. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each aura you control is attached to a creature. And Enchanted Creature is +1/+1 for each aura you control is attached to a creature. So this can make our creature a lot bigger, and it's going to draw us a lot of cards. Mace Enchantress. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you can draw a card. And Core Spirit Dancer is similar. It gives +2/+2 for each aura attached to it. Whenever you cast an aura spell, you can draw a card. Hateful Eidolon. Lifelink. Whenever an enchanted creature dies, you draw a card for each aura you control that is attached to it. Then Sun Titan. Vigilance. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you can return target permanent card with a mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. And we're going to have a lot of enchantments with a converted mana cost 3 or less. Armored Sky Hunter. Flying. When it attacks, you look at the top 6 cards of your library. You can put an aura or an equipment card from among them on the battlefield. If an equipment card is put on the battlefield this way, you can attach to it creature control. Put the rest of those cards at the bottom of your library in a random order. So it's going to give us a new enchantment every turn, because we should have one of the top 6 cards of your library. Dead Man's Chest. Enchanted creature an opponent controls. When it dies, exile cards equal to its power from the top of its owner's library. You can cast non-land cards from among them for as long as they remain exiled. And you can spend mana as though there's mana of any type to cast those spells. So, you enchant opponent's creature, and we just enchant the scariest one, so that either we can kill it, or someone else will want to kill it eventually, and then we're going to get a lot of cards off that. Then we have some removal, which is going to be made cheaper because of our commander. Banishing Light. When it enters the battlefield, you exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. An Oblivion Ring was similar. When it enters the battlefield, exile another target non-land permanent. When it leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Reprobation. Enchanted creature. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a coward creature with base power and toughness 0/1. Contract Killing. Destroy target creature. Create 2 colorless treasure artifact tokens with tap, sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So, it's going to cost 2 less with our commander out, and we're going to get 2 treasure tokens, so it's going to give us a lot of value. Blightcaster. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you can have target creature get -2/-2 till end of turn. And Doomwake Giant is similar. When it or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, creatures opponent controls get -1/-1 till end of turn. Then Winds of Wrath. Destroy all creatures that aren't enchanted and they can't be regenerated, and all other creatures should be enchanted. Single combat. Each player chooses a creature or planeswalker they control, and sacrifices the rest. Players can't cast creature or planeswalker spells until the end of your next turn. This is really going to benefit us because we're going to have a lot of enchantments on 1 or 2 creatures, so we can just sacrifice all other creatures, if we really have any, and keep the one really good creature. And then Divine Reckoning is similar. Each player chooses a creature they control, destroy the rest, has flashback for 7. And then Faith Unbroken. Enchanted creature you control. When it is battlefield, exile target creature and opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield, and enchanted creature gets +2/+2. Then lastly, we have lands. Forsaken Sanctuary enters battlefield tapped and taps to Orzhov colors. Orzhov Guildgate is the same thing. Scoured Barrens is the same thing, but you gain a life. Shambling Vent enters battlefield tapped and taps for Orzhov colors. And then you can pay 3 and it becomes a 2/3 white and black elemental creature with lifelink until on a turn. It's still land. So if you really need to get some extra damage in, you can do this, make it into a creature, and if you really need to, you can always enchant it. Silver Quill Campus enters battlefield tapped, taps for Orzhov colors, and then you can pay for it, tap it, scry 1. Rogue's Passage taps for colors, you can pay for it, tap it, target creature can't be blocked this turn, so we can give our best creatures unblockable. Cathedral of War enters battlefield tapped and is exalted, and it taps for 1 generic mana. So we're going to be attacking with 1 creature a lot of the time, so it's going to help out. Forge of Heroes taps your colors. You can tap it, choose target commander that enters the battlefield this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it if it's a creature, and a loyalty counter on it if it's a planeswalker. So it can help us get an extra 1/1 counter on our commander. Then Tyrate Sanctum. It taps your colors. You can pay 2, tap it. Target legendary creature becomes a god in addition to its other types. Put a 1/1 counter on it. You can pay 4, tap it, sacrifice it, put an indestructible counter on target god. So, it can give it a 1/1 counter, or it can give it indestructible. Command Tower just taps for 1 mana of your color. Then we just have 13 swamps and 13 plains. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and have a great day.